Men marry who fits into their whatever narrative they're trying to create for their life. Y'all don't even marry women that you're really sexually attracted to. You marry women who fit the wife mold. The wife mold is whoever's presentable for the public eye.
What's going on, guys? This is Eddie, the African Red Pill. Welcome to the video. Today's video, what are we talking about? We're talking about you have to be careful with what type of message you receive and accept. So in short, be careful of toxic positivity. Yeah, let's react to this video.
Any value to add to a man for him to sleep with her? None whatsoever. Right? Men like to paint this picture like they put so much thought into their wife. It's extremely hard for me to believe that you're so free with sleeping with anyone. Meaning, you will possibly create a child with someone, right? You won't put any real thought into that. It's just sex. It's just pussy. But who you marry, that's where you draw the line. That's when all the thinking and all that comes in. I don't believe that. Men marry who fits into their whatever narrative they're trying to create for their life. Y'all don't even marry women that you're really sexually attracted to. You marry women who fit the wife mold. The wife mold is whoever's presentable for the public eye. Whoever other men will approve of. Men do things for other men. Everything is a pissing contest. Right? Does this apply to all men? No, but a good amount of y'all. I watched enough men in my life to see men don't really have standards for who they sleep with. I wonder when will men grow out of it.
So if you look at this lady, her eyes, her facial expression, her body language, does that look like a woman who's emotionally sound? Eyes don't lie. Even just the message she's giving out, that doesn't look like a person who's emotionally sound. Now imagine somebody who's emotionally damaged, like the Nigerians say, emotional damage. Imagine somebody who's emotionally damaged, trying to give you positive advice which is coated in hatred, hate, brokenness. You end up like that person. Let's continue the video.
I like to use why you not married as some sort of insult for women who are of a certain age and not married, or who've been in a couple of relationships and not married. That's not an insult, because men will never ever leave women alone. Never ever. Always be a man there, ready and willing and able to do whatever, including marriage. Men don't value marriage the way they try to make it seem. They try to weaponize it as an insult towards women who are not married. Most of the time, so I'm going to speak for myself, I'm not married because I didn't want to get married again. Simple. Not because there was a shortage of men, not because I was asking men to marry me and they turned me down. Nothing. I simply chose not to be married to the man I was with for the last 10 years. I don't think that's a waste of time, because everyone's goal is not to be married. That's not the epitome. That's not the ultimate. I never wanted the white picket fence. I never wanted any of that stuff that was sold to women.
I'm sure this lady has got a following, or a huge following. And from that huge following, for her to have that type of a following, I'm sure she is an influencer to those people. Now imagine influencing people with toxic advice like this. I can imagine how many people she has convinced to be like her. Be careful of toxic advice, more especially ladies. Don't be gullible. Anybody asks a lady who's trying to give marriage advice to other females, or who's trying to give relationship advice to other females, if they ask a lady or a woman why she's not married, it's not an insult. Generally speaking, marriage is a big achievement to a lot of women. So since it's a big achievement to a lot of women, by a lot of women in general. Of course, there are some ladies who don't want to get married, but you're not going to work with an exception here. Yeah, so if they ask you why you're not married, it's simply them telling you that you're a failure. Just like a guy who hasn't made it financially is a failure. A woman who's not married or is past the stage of being not married is considered to be a failure despite her success financially, because women's success is not determined by how much they bring in. Their success is determined by if they've got a family, if they've got a good husband. So if you feel insulted if somebody asks you why you're not married, then it carries a lot of weight. Why don't men feel insulted when they are asked the same question? Because that standard is not judged or put on men. It's more heavily on women. Yeah, of course there are double standards. Double standards are on both parties. Men have got their double standards which benefit them, just like women have got double standards which benefit them. Of which, why you're not married is one of those standards. Let's continue the video.
2, women will never go without men. Ever, 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 ever. There is no danger of dying alone. There's none of those things. None of them. Because there will always be a man there. Always a man sniffing around. Being annoying. Always. The hard part is to get a man who's integral and not sleeping with everyone and not and about something with his life and not poor and not making $60,000 or less like most men do. That's the hard part. But a man in and of himself is not hard. None of you are lost. I can go outside and see one right now, 1 or 2, and they're always sweating me. Like that's not a hard thing.
That laughter was cringy. Okay. Every woman I meet or every woman I check out wants to be with a man who's successful, who's got this money, despite that woman being average at best, like Kevin Samuels would say. But there's what is called the 80-20 rule. 80% of women want to be with 20% of men. So if all of you women who fall in that 80% category want to with the man who's a 20%, I'm not saying the guys who are in that 20% category are good people. You will find a lot of them or some of them who got bad intentions, and if you give them an opportunity, they'll sleep with everyone since everybody wants them. So it's a rare thing to find a 20%er who's not a cheater. Just like it's a rare thing to find a 20%er. But realistically speaking, in that 80% of men you're leaving behind, there's a lot of guys who are good. They would make a great partner, husband, boyfriend, but you're overlooking them. You're all looking for that guy, like you said, who's earning more than 60 grand a year. And that guy, if he's got opportunities, he'll sleep with everyone because everyone wants him. Let's continue the video.
When you remove the need for money and things from men, most of you can't show up with anything else. The only thing you have is dick and money, the little bit of money you have, because again, most men make $60,000 or less, right? When I tell men I don't need anything and I don't want anything, they get frustrated because they don't know what else to offer. They don't know their value outside of giving women things. And I don't want anything. Not that I'm looking for a man, right? But if I wanted someone else, there would be none, because I don't want what you're offering. Connection is necessary, right? I know what the narrative is for men, right? Men have to be protectors and providers. I don't need a protector or provider. I don't need anybody to provide for me. I'm not going to force myself into needing that because that's what all men know how to offer, right? My protector and provider was my father, right? When I left my father's home, I no longer desired a provider. I'm able to go down to these people's job. I'm able to create a business. I'm able to do things to provide for myself. And I do well for myself, right? And I'm going to do better for myself. I'm going to get exponentially better. And a man is not necessary to do that. The things that men are necessary for, right? A lot of you are lacking. So not being married to you we're not losing anything.
Well, it all goes back to the double standards. Men are judged by resources they bring in. Men are judged by the value in terms of monetary form, resources, and everything that makes him to be wanted. Money and those material things are usually what make a high value man. Yeah. That's why even a guy who's got no good looks, as long as they've got money, can get any type of chick they want, any type of girl they want. So you can't remove something that makes somebody to be a someone and say if you remove that, what are you going to remain with? Okay, let's reverse the question. If we remove looks from a woman, is she going to put as many guys in her class or the type of guys she wants? Is she going to put as many? Not a chance. Women's standards are judged on their looks, while men's standards are judged by what they have brought in the world. A man's value is judged by his resources. Without those things, then there's nothing. I agree with you. Because even if a guy is good-hearted, but he's got no resources, there's no guy who's going to look his way. That's a proven fact. Am I lying? Let's continue the video.
And no, I'm not overly masculine. I don't need a man to help me to relax into my femininity. I've done too much work on myself to need someone external outside of me to help me be feminine. Femininity is my essence. I don't need help from a man to do that. You can contribute, but I don't need you to do it. Right? We are spirit, the divine mother, the powers that be, the real powers that be, are creating change. The things that men were once needed for, we don't need you for that. So that's forcing you to go deeper and to find yourself and to find your value outside of providing things that women no longer need you for. See where I'm going with this? Men need a purpose. Need a purpose in life to go forward, go towards, right? That's your number one thing, is your purpose. But you have to do work on yourself too, right? Spending all your time making money and building a legacy or whatever it is that you're doing external to you to prove to the world that you are worthy, that's not going to fly anymore. Women are evolving beyond that. Women are out earning you what we desire, what our soul needs from a man is not what you can provide tangibly. Now, there are women who need that. That's not what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of evolved women who can do it for themselves, but desire a partner, a companion, love. That's what we're getting back to. Love of self and love of another. Why is the divorce rate so high? That's what you should question, not why someone isn't married. Oh, she must be crazy, and why a man don't want men. Men want everyone. Again, most of you have no standards for women, so you want anyone that's willing, right? And you will marry whoever fits into whatever you created in your mind that you want. So it's really no rhyme or reason behind any of this shit. And then you try to weaponize it. A lot of times women are not married because they choose not to be. Because men are not offering what their soul, what their spirit desires, which is love, companionship, integrity, all of the things that come with a solid human, not just money. We can make money. We can do what we need to do for money. Love is what we need from men.
See, she's damaged goods. This is what I was talking about. This lady is emotionally damaged, and I think she's at the stage where it's a point of no return. But she doesn't want to be alone at the place where she is, so she wants to drag as many women as she can. She wants to drag them along. Yeah. And she's talking about spirits, whatever, stars, the galaxy, all this type of BS women like using. Spiritual stuff, like to avoid accountability. They will start talking about spiritual stuff. They start talking about their stars, their star sign, whatever, to avoid accountability. That's not how the world works. If you're in the real world, accountability, if you're not taking accountability for your actions, it's got consequences. If you do good things, you attract good things. If you do bad things, you attract bad things. So if you want to see solid advice, sound advice, an example I can give is this woman. Just check out the advice she was giving to fellow ladies. This is the type of advice you should be getting, not the toxic advice from this other lady. Check it out.
Why do we have to separate ourselves so much from each other? Why is black women one separate entity and black men are another separate entity? That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how any other race operates, but we're the only ones who operate like that and think it's functional. You feel me? I've said it before. Why do we get the label of strong, independent black woman? We don't hear that from nobody else. I've never heard strong, independent white woman, strong, independent Asian woman, strong, independent Latino woman, strong, independent Indian woman. I ain't never heard none of that. But we pride ourselves to being strong, independent black women, as if independence is something that we should strive for as a people. Independence is death. Everybody needs somebody. And the reason why we're struggling in our households and our communities is because we think that there's something good about being independent. Black women need black men, and black men need black women.
Yeah, so anybody out there, men, women, be careful what type of advice you take. Even my advice can be toxic. If you think of my advice is toxic, don't take it. Be careful of toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is the whole reason why the world is currently in a mess. We've got lunatics running around, running the show. People who would be in asylums back in the day are the ones who are running the show. People who were normal back in the day are looked down upon. Be careful of toxic advice. Like this is not the type of advice somebody should be taking. But if you check out the comment sections from the platform she posted that video on, you find a lot of people co-signing with her. I feel for everybody who takes such type of positivity. I see this a lot. Female pastors, feminists, female empowerment. Once a woman starts interacting with such types of people, you find that even our relationships get to be on the block. Then you get to regret later in future. By the time you try to realize that the advice was toxic, it should have been too late. This is where I'm gonna end my video. Thanks for watching. Hit like, comment, subscribe to support my channel. Till next time. Peace.